She smiled last, the kind of smile killers leave behind. Margot stood at the kitchen sink, drying her hands on a towel embroidered with a monogram her mother-in-law had given her 30 years ago at her wedding. Outside, the leaves rustled, autumn slipping into the house through cracks in the window frames and fissures in the sole. Behind her, at the table, sat her nephew Lucas, chewing a turkey sandwich as if he hadn't a care in the world. But Margot had one. A very big one. 2 weeks earlier, she'd found a letter, not in the mailbox, but hidden in a box of tea bags, tucked beneath the foil lining as though someone feared it might be read. It was from her older sister, Evelyn. Margot hadn't seen her in 5 years. 5 years of silence. 5 years of bitterness. And one final letter, written in a trembling hand. Margot, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. Forgive me for not saying it in person. You were the only one I could trust. But they took everything, even my right to say no. Please, look at Lucas. He doesn't know. But you must. And do what I couldn't. The letter ended mid-sentence. Margot didn't cry. To cry was to admit powerlessness. And she hadn't been helpless in a very long time. Lucas suspected nothing. He'd come for just a couple of days, as he always did, whenever his money ran out or his latest girlfriend kicked him out. He was lazy but charming, the kind of man who'd spent his whole life assuming someone else would fix things for him. Especially if that someone was his Aunt Margot, the widow who lived in a house with a perfect lawn and perfect order. But order was an illusion. Beneath it, worms writhed. Margot knew everything. Almost everything. Over the past 5 years, Evelyn had been hospitalized twice, first for acute kidney failure, then for a stroke. Both times, Lucas had been there. Very close. He'd even persuaded his mother to sign a power of attorney over her accounts, so I can pay for her treatment. Aunt Margot, you live so far away, and Margot had stayed silent. She didn't believe in coincidences. Not with angelic faces like his. Especially not after she found the photo of Evelyn in her hospital bed, 4 in her arm, wrists wrapped in bandages not from a fall, as Lucas claimed, but from something tied too tightly. Too often. And then, the final note in the medical file, patient refuses further treatment. But the handwriting wasn't Evelyn's. It was too neat. Too confident. Too male. Margot had reread that letter every night. And every morning, she decided. Today, she would begin. Lunch was over. Lucas leaned back in his chair, stretched, yawned, with the careless arrogance of those who take what isn't theirs. And, mind if I borrow your car? Need to see Jenny. Of course, Margot said, looking him straight in the eyes. Just fill the tank yourself, all right? He grinned. Always do. She knew he didn't. But she nodded. When he left, Margot pulled Evelyn's old laptop from the closet, the one she'd brought home after the funeral because it still works. It'd be a shame to throw it away. In truth, because she sensed something was there. The password, she tried dates, Evelyn's wedding, Lucas's birthday, their mother's death. Nothing. Then she typed Margot. The screen came alive. Inside the folder labeled personal were 3 files. The first was a scan of the will. Evelyn left everything to Lucas. Everything, even the house she'd built with her own hands. But in the corner, scribbled faintly in pencil, Evelyn had written, "He made me rewrite it. Threatened me. I'm afraid." The second file was an audio recording, dated 3 days before her death. Margot clicked play. Evelyn's voice, hoarse, terrified. "He says it's medicine. Says the doctors prescribed it. But I didn't sign anything. He's mixing something into my juice. I don't want to die, Margot. If you're hearing this." The recording cut off. The third file was a short video, shot on a phone. Poor quality, but clear enough to see Lucas pouring a clear liquid from a small vial into a glass of orange juice. Evelyn slept on the couch. He placed the glass beside her pillow. Left. Returned an hour later. The glass was empty. Margot shut the laptop. Her hands didn't shake. Her heart beat steady. She went to the kitchen, brewed tea, set a cup on the table, and waited. Lucas returned 2 hours later, laughing, smelling of cologne and complacency. "And why so serious?" he asked, grabbing a water bottle from the fridge. Just thinking, she replied. About your mother. He froze for a split second, then smirked. Again? Come on, she chose this. She was tired. You know that. I know, Margot said softly. She was tired of you. He set the bottle down. Looked at her, no smile now. What's that supposed to mean? It means I saw it, Lucas. All of it. He stepped closer. His voice dropped, but not its edge. What did you find? Everything I needed. He laughed, but there was no joy in it. You think the police will believe you? A lonely widow with an overactive imagination, and me, the grieving son who cared for his sick mother until her last breath? Who's going to believe you, Aunt? I don't need anyone to believe me, she said. And for the first time in all those years, she smiled. The next morning, Lucas woke with a pounding headache. He got up, walked to the kitchen, and found a tray with breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice. Just how he liked it. Thanks, Aunt, he mumbled, sitting down. Margot sat across from him, sipping coffee. Said nothing. He drank the juice. Ate the toast. 20 minutes later, the room began to spin. He stood and collapsed. Margot didn't move. What did you do to me? The same thing you did to her, she said. Only I won't wait weeks for you to die of kidney failure. I want you to know who did this. And why. He tried to stand. Couldn't. His eyes widened with terror. I didn't. I heard your recording, Lucas. Saw the video. I have everything. He gasped, not from poison, but from realization. What do you want? I want you to leave this world the way she did, with the feeling you've been betrayed. That no one's coming. That you're alone. She stood, approached him, leaned down. Remember her last call to me? She said, Margot, he looks at me like I'm a burden. Then the line went dead. Forever. He choked. Drool trickled from the corner of his mouth. I'm sorry, he whispered. No, she said. Don't. Forgiveness is for those who repent. You're just afraid to die. He died 3 hours later. On the kitchen floor. In a pool of his own vomit. Eyes fixed on the ceiling. Margot called the police calmly, clearly. Said she'd woken to find him not breathing. No panic. No tears. The paramedics came. So did the police. The doctor examined the body, shook his head. Looks like acute poisoning. Maybe spoiled food. Or an allergic reaction. He ate seafood last night at that place on the corner, Margot said. Could be from there. They took notes. Asked if he had chronic conditions. Margot said no, he was perfectly healthy. Then added, he'd just lost his mother. Took it very hard. They nodded. Offered condolences. Left. 3 days later, funeral day. Margot stood by the grave in the black dress she'd worn to Evelyn's burial. No one else came. Lucas had no friends. Colleagues didn't show. He'd quit 6 months ago. His girlfriend vanished the moment he died. Margot placed a single white lily on the casket. You got what you deserved, she said. But I'll still pay for your coffin because you were my sister's son. And I'm the last one who remembers who she really was. She turned and walked away. At home, she took out Evelyn's letter. Reread it. Then burned it in the sink. Washed the ashes down the drain. Next, she opened the laptop, deleted every file, removed the hard drive, and smashed it with a hammer. Finally, she went to bed and, for the first time in 5 years, cried. Not from grief. Not from fear. From peace. 6 months passed. Margot sold the house. Moved to another state. Took only one photo album, the one where Evelyn, young and laughing, stood in a garden with her 2 daughters. Lucas was in the pictures too small. Innocent. Not yet ruined. She didn't look back. Because revenge isn't about rage. It's about restoring order. About justice no one else will deliver but you. And the silence after lunch, that's justice itself.